everybody, and Merry Christmas from the Heart 2009. We are so excited, we just can't hardly stand it, because we actually have a heritage in our home here at Scenic Ridge, and it is Mama Bear Dorman. Most of you have her famous cookbook, Tried and True, and Sugar Pockets will be on page 48 and 49. Now the reason for this video is to make sure the tradition is carried on throughout the Dorman family, so that Corey could even make sugar pockets, Annie could even make sugar pockets, Lindsay, Candy, all of us can make them tried and true, because we have tried and we have failed. So we thought Christmas from the Heart should be a tutorial with the most famous teacher in the world, Mama Bear Dorman. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm going to be your chef today for Sugar Pocket Pastries.
We are so excited because we can finally figure out how to do it tried and true.
Let's hope I don't
Screw it up.
explode.
Well, we'll cut that if that happens. I doubt it. How long have you been making sugar pockets?
Since I was 8 years old.
8 years old?
Right.
And
Mama always made biscuits in the morning, and she would always leave a little ball of dough for three of us, Leela and Duane and I. And Leela and I would have to take turns making Duane's sugar pocket for our school pails and, school lunches. And he always liked his, just butter and sugar. And Leela and I liked the chocolate ones, so we would make the chocolate ones and make him a butter and sugar one. But whenever they were coming to visit us about 3 years ago, he called from Albuquerque and said, "Have those sugar pockets ready?" So I remembered how he loved the butter and sugar ones, and I baked a whole bunch of butter and sugar ones for him. And when he got there, he decided he liked the cinnamons better. So he ate all our cinnamon ones, and we had to eat the butter and sugar ones.
well, I personally like both of them, and let's get started.
Alrighty. We're going to be making sugar pockets, and the first thing we're going to be stirring up is the sugar mixtures. Now when we're making cinnamon ones, you take a cup of packed brown sugar and a half a cup of white sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and you mix that all up. And that's for your cinnamon pockets.
And what's the best cinnamon?
Oh, the best cinnamon is the Vietnamese cinnamon that we get from King Arthur flour out of Vermont. And that's the best cinnamon that you can buy. And then for the cocoa ones, you can use whatever. I use Hershey's cocoa. You can use whatever cocoa you like. But you start with a cup of packed brown sugar for it, and a half a cup of white sugar, and 2 heaping tablespoons of cocoa. And you mix that all up. And the reason I mix the white sugar in with the cinnamon and the brown sugar, cinnamon mixture and the brown sugar in this, is because it helps the brown sugar melt easier in the pockets. And then we mix this all up, and this is what we will spread on the dough after it's rolled out good.
Mmm. Oh, they smell good already.
That smells good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I love that cinnamon.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
I am too. We're having fun.
Uh-huh. Biscuits. This has been in your family for how many years, Mama? My country's
About 70 or over.
70, and it happens to be on page 70 in the Mama Bear cookbook.
Yeah.
Do I need to preheat the oven?
Yeah, it's okay to preheat it, but you only cook them about 12 minutes, so you don't want it too hot to begin with. But yeah, preheating is always good.
Okay, so I'll preheat the oven to
yeah.
what?
About 350.
About 350, and tell us about the best flour in the world too, Mama.
Yeah, the King Arthur flour is the best. It's non-bromated and non-bleached, and it makes the best in all of your baking. And you can get it at Kroger's here. And so you start out by, if you want to, you don't have to sift it. If you will stir up this flour and then spoon it into your cup, and it'll come out as the same as if you've sifted it. And you use 3 cups of flour in the biscuit part of this recipe here. And I've got to get it Okay, that's 1 cup. And whenever I was a little girl, I started making these when I was 8 years old. And Mama would always make biscuits every morning, and she would leave 3 balls of dough out for me and Leela to make our sugar pockets, and we always had to take turns making my brother's, Dwayne's, sugar pockets. And he liked the sugar and butter only ones, and Leela and I liked the chocolate ones, so I always mixed those up for us. And I've been making these so long, and the kids always loved them, and now everybody wants to learn to make them. So maybe this will be the secret of seeing it done. Makes it easier than just talking about it. Okay, now that's my 3 cups of flour. And we use a teaspoon of salt in there. Let me get over so I miss it. I don't want to do too much, but I don't want to short it either. So, okay. And then we use a tablespoon of baking powder. And I always use the non-aluminum baking powder. It's much healthier for you. And you just make a level tablespoon of baking powder in there. And then you mix all of that up with a fork before you stir your butter in. Then you have to cut your butter into the flour mixture here. And you use 2 sticks of butter and have them at room temperature. It's easier to cut them in when you've got it at room temperature.
Now what happens if you have forgotten, like we sort of did this morning, and hadn't thawed our butter? Well, how do we do that?
You can set it in your oven with the light on, and if you're in a real hurry, you can turn your oven on for about a minute or minute and a half to get it warm inside, and then set your butter in there and leave your oven light on. And then I guess it'll take, if it's really a hard butter, if you've got it frozen, it may take 30 minutes or longer to get it soft enough to put in here.
So it's best to thaw the butter the night before?
Yeah, it'd be best. It really would.
Okay, make a note of that, girls and guys.
So that you'd have that set. Now this other stick of butter is to put on the pockets whenever we get the biscuit dough all rolled out. And you just cut this in till it's in kind of like crumb form. And then we have to have about, I'll start out with a cup of milk and then add as a little bit, usually it takes about a cup and a half, but I don't want to get too much to begin with because then you make the dough too soft and it's harder to deal with. So, you have to kind of guess a little bit sometimes with this stuff. But you're going to be seasoned cooks and you're going to know how to do it. And this takes a little while to get this cut in. So Annie can tap dance for us and sing while we're doing this.
I'm going to tap dance over to get the milk.
Yeah, pour just a cup of milk, and we'll start with a cup of milk and then add as we need to. That makes it easier to do.
All right.
That way you don't get too much milk to begin with.
Always stir with a lot of love, right?
Yeah, I'm just putting all sorts of love in here.
Okay. Did you say a cup and a half of milk?
A cup to start with.
1 cup of milk.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We'll probably have to use a half cup more, but we'll wait and see. Just don't want the dough too soft. If you get it too soft, it's hard to deal with. You have to add more flour on the board, and then that's not good either. So.
Does it make a difference if you use sea salt or regular salt?
Oh no, sea salt just is healthier for you because it has all the minerals in it.
Okay. And then the non-aluminum baking powder.
The non-aluminum baking
That's
powder.
healthier, okay?
Oh, yes,
Make a note of that, girls and guys.
Yeah, you don't want it that old aluminum. You know, I don't know why they ever even put aluminum in it. I can't understand that. I don't know why they put mercury in flu shots. But there was one doctor on the TV the other day that was talking on Fox News. He said, I wouldn't give my kids those flu shots, or I wouldn't take them myself because they've got too much mercury in them. And he said mercury accumulates in the body.
And formaldehyde and things like that.
And so, anyway, and then there was another doctor came on and said, well, sure, give them to them. Give them those shots. So you just make your own decisions about that, but I don't want to.
Does Paula Dean have your recipe for sugar pockets? Most people have never heard of them, have they?
No, this was a family deal that I don't know why, but we're getting them spread around the country, aren't we?
And you cut that in with a fork.
Yeah, it's better with a fork. Some of them have those things that you're supposed to, but I never could use those. A fork is the best.
Fork is the best, tried and true, everybody. Pay attention now.
I got one of those fancy ones that you're supposed to cut the butter into the flour, but the butter would pack up in the thing and I'd have to take a knife and scrape it out. So,
and you've been doing it like this for over 70 years, we might as well go with you.
That's right.
Stir it with a lot of love.
Yep.
And King Arthur flour, once again, is the best flour that you don't have to
for
sift.
any type of baking.
Right, and spoon it into the cup, then you don't have to sift it.
Right.
Wonderful, we are learning a lot today.
Well, good.
Papa Bear wants to know when they're going to be ready.
He always wants to know that.
Anytime now.
Anytime now, he says from the wings.
Now I think we've about got this ready for the...
Ready for the milk. This is
Yeah.
1 cup of milk,
Okay.
right?
Well, yeah. You want to pour it in there?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm better at this than tap dancing. Just all around like that?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. There
Now
it
let's
is.
see how this mixes up. We may have to add some more.
Okay.
But we don't want to go too fast too soon. Whew. Looks like we got a little bit too much of that. You sure you measured that right?
I did. Do we add more flour if we get to?
Yeah, we can add a little bit more.
Okay.
And then too, it's going to have flour on the board and it'll help make it.
Lindsay and I made them one time and they exploded.
Did they? It's almost impossible to keep them from leaking out the chocolate, and sometimes, but I'll show you how. When you press the corners, it helps to keep it in. But sometimes, when the biscuit dough starts to rise, it expands, and they leave a little hole there, and the sugar and cocoa and stuff will get out. Right. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and yeah, this is going to be just right.
Oh, good. Now, also, you'd mentioned something about getting these biscuits in the can. We've never had any success with that because we can't get them flat enough. So the best thing to do is to make it this way.
Yeah, make it from scratch. Make your biscuits from scratch.
Okay.
And then you don't have all that other stuff in it.
Right, okay.
The additives that they put in the biscuits and things. I don't know what all they put in there. Now, I have to put flour on my deal here. Let me get this.
Let's talk about the pastry frame and what could be an alternative.
Oh
if they
yeah,
have that.
this canvas pastry frame is the best because it helps to keep the stuff from sticking. If you got it on a hard surface like that, it's hard to keep the flour in, and this kind of absorbs some of the flour so it keeps it from sticking. And you just wipe it around like this. But you can get other pastry. You don't have to get this kind. If you can, it's the best, but they're hard to find. But you get pastry, I think probably at any good baking shop or wherever you buy a lot of baking stuff is where you can get the other types. And they even may have this type, I don't know.
Don't make it on the counter, make it on some kind of
canvas,
So what is the ideal consistency for biscuits?
Right there.
Yeah.
No,
How would you know whether to add more or less?
Well, you can tell. If you can still turn it like this, that's about the ideal right there.
Okay.
So 1 cup was plenty for that.
All right.
Now, I need a spatula to get this out.
Spatula?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tap dance over here. And
Okay, you take me over there and get me a spatula.
You want a cooking spatula or?
No, just something to scrape the bowl out.
Oh, is this something to scrape the
Yeah,
bowl
just,
out?
yeah, just scrape the bowl out.
That's a spatula.
That's good.
Okay.
That'll work. That way I don't have to get it sticky all over my hands and then have to wash my hands before I start anything else. Yeah, that's just the right consistency for those biscuits there.
It's almost like a cookie dough for biscuits,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is.
So no pancake kind of stuff,
No,
right?
no, nothing. Don't want
Something
pan.
looks like that, everybody. I'm so glad you made this trip to Tennessee.
Me too. I didn't know it was going to be on camera. I didn't know it was going to be Julia. Or
You can be Ellie.
Pauline, y'all.
You can be Ellie.
I'll be Ellie. Okay, that's who I'll be. Leila and I always had that little deal going when we were kids growing up. We had our playhouses and we couldn't just have our own names, so we made up names. And we made up for how, I don't know who came up with Ellie, but we came up with Mary and Ellie, and neither one of us wanted to be Ellie. And so we'd fight for 30 minutes before we got our playhouse started, so who's going to be Ellie? Finally, we'd give in. Now you split it in the middle, because I'm going to start rolling the balls for the pockets. And you split each ball again, and then you split it again, and then you split it again. Let's see, that's 2, 4, 6, 8 for the half. And it doesn't matter if you don't get them just exactly the same. They'll be close enough. And the bigger ones, the guys always like anyway.
Now each one of these balls going to make a
Sugar pocket.
sugar pocket or
Yeah.
2 sugar pockets?
No, one.
One.
Yeah.
So you're making 16 sugar pockets?
Yeah, 16 sugar pockets. Then after they're done, you cut them in 2.
And then you end up with 32 sugar pockets.
Yeah, and that makes 32.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Let's see here. 4, 6, 8, yeah. I may have to squeeze a little bit out of some of these to kind of level them out. It's hard to kind of get them exact. But we'll always give Randy the smallest one.
That's right.
And Papa Bear the biggest one.
Yeah, Papa Bear's, I think he's eating us out of house and home around here.
I'm glad he has a good appetite.
Oh, I am too.
Now these are actually like little
Yeah,
biscuits.
they're-
If you put
yeah.
them in the oven, you'd have biscuits.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
that's the real tried and true. Don't use the canned biscuits. Make them from scratch.
Make them from scratch.
Aren't they pretty?
Scratch cook.
These
Yes,
are pretty
scratch
like
cook.
you.
Oh,
Well, you can tell you've been making these a while. Look how good she is at it.
yeah. I'm a holy roller.
Everybody paying attention?
And we'll see how many of them stick. Now, when you start out, you put that on there, if you can, put a little bit on the board, on the rolling pin, but you don't have to. You start out slow like that, and then you, see there, you turn it once, and that helps to keep it, or you may turn it 2 or 3 times before you get it too big. I need my bowl to set these in, because I don't have enough elbow room here.
Okay. So I'll bring the bowl back.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, I'll just set these in here. That way I won't be,
You have enough elbow room.
yeah, you gotta get your elbows in here.
as it says in the recipe book, you gotta know how to roll them and know how to fold them.
That's right. Kenny, I love that. Yeah, you have to keep turning them so that they don't, that dough is really soft, so that they don't stick on the bottom, because it's going to be hard to fold them if they stick on the bottom. Don't worry about putting too much flour on them, because it'll be fine. And you roll them fairly thin, because that makes the best pastry, thin pastry. And just hope that I get these off of here. If I mess up, camera stops. And you put about 2 tablespoons and then run it out to about a 1/4 of an inch to the edge of the dough. Spread it around like that.
And the first one's gonna be cinnamon and
That's
Yeah,
the
just
cinnamon and brown sugar.
cinnamon brown sugar.
Mhm.
Okay.
And usually I just make them with plain sugar and cinnamon and plain sugar and cocoa, but I tried some with the brown sugar in them, and it gives them a good flavor, so I decided I'd let you all have some brown sugar ones and see how you like them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put 9 little, let's see, I need a knife. You put 9 little dots of butter, and I'll show you how to do that.
Is that good?
Yeah. Put 3 here, and 3 here, and 3 here, and then you fold. Uh-oh. And you don't want the butter too big, the butter balls, because then it'll make them brittle when they cook if there's too much in there. Ooh, I really got that soft, didn't I?
Sure is a lot easier watching you make them than looking at the diagram in the cookbook.
Yeah, right. Yeah, visual is easier. Then you know where to mess up, see? Now, I'm going to have my pan over here too, Andy.
Okay.
When I fold the first one.
I'll tap dance over here and get our pan.
Okay. Now you fold it over from that side, doesn't matter which side you start on, kind of press it down. You fold it over on this side, and then you fold this end over, and then you press these corners. That's where they'll expand and some of the goodie will get out if you don't press those corners good. And then you fold it again and again. And there's your sugar pocket.
Whoa! Look at your pan.
Now you fold over the first row of butter, just like that. And then you turn to the second row of butter, and then you do the ends and press the little corners so that that's where they will expand and leak. But sometimes they always do anyway, so you can not worry about it if they do a little bit. But then you turn over once and over twice.
You overlap the seam, right?
Yeah. And there you go.
And seam side up.
Yeah, the seam side up. Yeah.
Seam side up in the pan, okay.
Then we start over. Okay, here we are. Now we cut them and wrap them. They're still kind of,
Still
they're
kinda
still
warm?
kind of warm, yeah.
We're wrapping.
Okay. So what
Now-
I'm going to do is, I'll cut them.
Mmm, they smell so good. How long did they cook in the oven now?
Well, if your oven is up to par, about 12 minutes.
We'll edit that out.
Which if you got an old broken down
I got a 30-year-old oven.
It makes a difference. About 12 minutes.
About 12 minutes
Yeah.
at 350.
You just want them golden brown, just
Till
like
they're
that.
golden brown.
Yeah.
And watch them as they cook, and none of them exploded.
Yeah. I
Wow!
looked out here.
Yay! You want a platter to put them on, Mama Bear?
Well, or we can just set them back on the bar there.
Because I got a platter.
They're cutting real good. Uh-oh. And we'll let those get real cold before we wrap them or they'll sweat.
Right. Golden brown.
Yep.
Nobody exploded.
These turned out just right.
Tried and true.
Thank the good Lord.
Yep.
Since I am the chef.
We love you. We love you. Papa Bear, get on in there.
That's okay. We'll get him eating one here.
If I get in there, I'll start eating.
You want one a little warm?
And I'm afraid I'll get the bottom blisters off me, so.
No, you won't. I'll protect you.
Last Christmas, I made the sugar pockets, and I gave Rick and Dawn theirs, and I shipped yours to you, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
And I was writing, I had gotten a new Marker-Lot pen,
Right.
and I was wrapping them, and I was separating the chocolate, putting chocolate on, and you know that permeated that? And
So Rick says.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe him.
You
But,
think he ate them all? He
well,
said he
I
had
think
to
he
throw
ate them all
away.
and wanted you to make some more. I think that's what it was. Oh, Mom, you ruined these.
Well, I said, so then I quit marking them. I said, y'all just have to figure out which one's cinnamon and chocolate.
Papa Bear's eyeing them.
Oh, yeah.
Look out.
There's the Papa Bear. He's ready for one.
Now, it's better to keep them individually wrapped, and that makes them fresher. Merry Christmas, my darlings, from Mama Bear to you. Enjoy.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
He's our taste tester.
Man, it's good.
Okay, this portion of Christmas from the Heart 2009 has been brought to you by
Mama Bear.
And Pepper Bear.
And Annie Bear.
and Dadrew Bear. We
Merry-
want to wish you a Merry
Merry Christmas.